The Chicago Cubs were painfully eliminated at home from the NLCS in 111 rout by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Their mid-season acquisition Jose Quintana gave up 6 runs in only 2+ innings pitched, recording just 1 strikeout. Clayton Kershaw continued to rewrite the silly playoff narrative surrounding him by giving up 1 run in 6 innings and striking out 5. My fellow Boricua Kike Hernandez was the hero of the day by hitting 3 home runs, one of which was a grand slam in the 3rd inning that blew the game open. The potent Cubs offense that scored 5.07 RG during the regular season averaged a paltry 1.6 RG in the NLCS. In fact, they scored only 1 run in 3 out of the 5 games, and they scores more than 3 runs just once in the entire postseason. They were very lucky to advance to their 3rd straight NLCS in the first place. So what happened with the offense? Nothing happened. These are the same players they have always been. Anthony Rizzo did not all of the sudden become a true talent .135.200.243 hitter who strikes out 35% of the time. The Cubs faced elite pitching, and anybody can perform at any talent level over such microscopic sample sizes. Barring any injuries that we do not know about, it is really not any more complicated than that. And even if it were, there is no shame in losing to a 105-win team. The window of contention for the Cubs is still open and will probably stay open at least through 2019. That said, they certainly have issues to address this offseason. The Cubs have 2 key players entering free agency: Wade Davis and Jake Arrieta. Davis is coming off his worst year as a full-time reliever since 2012, and he still had a 2.45 RA9 and struck out a third of the hitters he faced. My guess is that he is going to want a 3- or 4-year deal at a minimum of $15 million per year, roughly the going rate for elite relievers nowadays. The thing is that Davis is 32 years old and his fastball has declined approximately 2 mph since 2015, per Brooks Baseball, meaning he might not really be elite. I am loath to give a reliever more than 2 years, but I can see the argument behind the Cubs doing so. They can and probably will extend him a qualifying offer, but remember that the rules with that have changed. The QO does not have the value to pressing powers it once did, nor the value to the offering team. The Cubs bullpen performed very well in 2017. Their combined 4.06 RA9 ranked 5th in baseball and 2nd in the NL. Their 26.3 K% ranked 6th in baseball and 2nd in the NL. Coincidentally, the Dodgers beat them out in both categories. Even without Davis, the rest of the Cubs relievers combined for a 4.24 RA9. Still, he is a hard guy to replace. Like Davis, Arrieta is also going into his age 32 season, but he is going to command a much bigger deal as a starter. 2 years off of his Cy Young season, he struggled with injury and inconsistency. This year he had a 4.38 RA9 and an unremarkable 23.1% strikeout rate. It is worth mentioning that from July through August, he had a 2.38 RA9 over 11 starts. However, he also had a high strand rate and .217 BABIP during that period, while his strikeout and walk rates remained the same. I guarantee you that the Cubs know this, too. I do not know what to make of Arrieta at this point, which would make me terrified of resigning him for anything close to what he is likely to ask for. I would have no problem extending him a QO, but I would be hesitant to sign him for more than 3 years given his age and given his performance the past 2 seasons. The drawback of not bringing back Arrieta is the hole it will leave in the Cubs' starting rotation. There is Quintana, Kyle Hendricks, John Lester, and then a drop-off. Furthermore, Lester had a 5.03 RA9 in 2017, and one has to wonder how much longer Hendricks can succeed with an 86 mph sinker. The Cubs' starting rotation ranked 5th in the NL with a 4.49 RA9, just barely behind the divisional rival Brewers at a 4.45 RA9. Even if Arrieta returns and performs well, the rotation's run average is probably going to get worse next year unless the Cubs find some way to address it. Other than Arrieta, there is not a lot in the free agent market to address the rotation. They could try getting CC Sabathia or Jason Vargas for cheap, and then hope that they do not regress much. Or they could just break the bank and sign Yu Darvish. Neither option is wholly appealing. The best forecast lies with the position players, most of whom are under contract for at least another couple of years. The infield looks pretty good. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Wilson Contreras will still be great next year. Addison Russell struggled with injuries this year and took a small step back offensively, but he will only be 24 next year, so there should still be optimism. Javier Baez was good this year, but his poor plate discipline continues to be a concern. It looks good that John Jay will return next year, but he was not great in 2017. A league average hitter in center field is a good thing to have, but his defense is not very good. He was certainly a downgrade over Dexter Fowler, who actually was not much better this year by BWAR because his defense rated very poorly. Jason Hayward's defense is great, but despite improvements at the plate, he still is not hitting enough. Given that he was 26 years old when he signed his current deal, I believed that he would certainly opt out after this third or fourth year. I am much less certain of that now. If I were a Cubs fan, I would start getting concerned that the team will be on the hook for the entirety of that $184 million deal, and that Hayward's performance won't match the price tag. The biggest problem is with Kyle Schwarber. He was just a league average hitter who strikes out 31% of the time while playing terrible defense in left field. He is barely a major league quality player as long as he plays that position with that kind of defense. The Cubs just do not have any better options for where to play him. They have no DH, Rizzo blocks first base, and it looks like he can't play catcher even in a backup role. If they traded him, they would be selling low. The Cubs' best solution might be to just hope he makes a big improvement at the plate in 2018. What about Ian Happ? He deserves to play every day, but where does he play? Schwarber or Hayward would have to fall off a cliff offensively for either of them to lose their starting jobs. I would try starting him as the everyday center fielder and hope for the best defensively. Happ could also be used as trade bait for some starting pitching. The Cubs could also sell high on Baez if they are concerned that his bat will get worse, and then make Happ the starting second baseman. Help will not be coming from the farm system anytime soon, either. The Cubs' best prospects the last couple of years have been either promoted or traded away to bolster the major league club. To their credit, other than trading Gleyber Torres for Aroldis Chapman, the team excelled at using a great farm system to create a great team either by trade or directly. Despite the issues laid out here, the fact of the matter is that this Cubs team is still really good. They won 92 games this year, 103 games last year, and 97 games the year before. The Brewers have proven themselves to be a force to reckon with, and one should never count out the Cardinals, but the Cubs will likely win the division again with ease. That does not mean that the team should rest on its laurels, though. The Dodgers and Nationals will still be elite next year, and the Cubs will need every advantage they can get. Luis Torres is a featured writer at Beyond the Box Score. He is a medicinal chemist by day, baseball analyst by night. You can follow him on Twitter at @ChemTorres21.